Hi guys, it's Sephora here. So today I am sitting in a park with you talking about self-diagnosis and my take on it. So I personally am for self-diagnosing because until you can get a formal diagnosis, you might not be able to fully go all the way that you need to in recovery, but it's good to have lots of foundation and understanding before having to move forward because not everybody has the resources, the finances, the insurance, anything to move ahead with a formal diagnosis. And I think it's just really important that people can feel less alone, feel less abnormal, and see that they do relate to these things that they might see on the internet and so on. Because if you're able to relate to any of the symptoms, then why not educate yourself about it or learn what you can do about it? And I see like some controversy online about self-diagnosis and people saying that it's not fair to those who have been diagnosed to diagnose yourself and that you don't know what you're talking about. And I think that's kind of silly because if you relate to it, you relate to it. And you know yourself better than anybody can ever know you, of course. And I think you can also notice the areas in your life that you need to work on. And that's a good thing. So if you see what other people need in order to recover the thing that do make recovery over the thing that you relate to, then why not utilize that? So you can notice the areas that you need to work on, such as emotional skills, handling triggers, psychoeducation, so you know what you're working with, and just the things that you're able to get before a diagnosis. And when you can educate yourself and see where things come from, different conditions or struggles that we go through, when you can see where these come from, it can help empower you. It can help make you feel like you're less out of control. It can help you see from the outside and gain some self-compassion because we don't create these things. It could be genetics, it could be environmental. So we don't wake up one day and decide to have a personality disorder or extreme phobias or mental illness of any sort. Now, by working on where you can, it can give you a nice foundation when you're able to finally move ahead to get that self-diagnosis. So for myself personally, I did lots of research, lots of education on psychology. I forked out a lot of money for DBT, which was hard because I had to scrounge around for this money, and it was hard. It was hard because it's an expensive thing. At the same time, I did lots of other things that weren't so expensive, and that was just reading up on how to be more emotionally attuned and the reasons behind, and learning the reasons behind things really helped me along the way. At the same time, just because I educated myself and knew so much and had the understanding of emotional attunement and how people control their triggers, I still wasn't able to implement it, but I had the foundation. I had so much stuff and I was trying and trying and trying, and it was defeating. So my self-diagnosis of BPD was very good for me because I got so much under my belt so that when I finally did have the formal diagnosis and was able to get on medication, the wall that was preventing me from implementing the skills was able to be broken down and things changed. So I think that in the meantime, seeking just general counseling is fine. Like, you don't need to get the most expensive DBT therapist and the most expensive psychiatrist appointments and everything. You can see general counselors, and that might help you along the way just to kind of talk it out and to learn different skills, because counselors that aren't certified DBT people can still help you. And all this foundation that I had also went towards me becoming a CBT practitioner who can then implement DBT skills. So by having some help along the way, that's not necessarily the specific treatment that you need, is also building the foundation for you to tie it all together when you can. And that's all my pros for self-diagnosis, and I only have a few cons because, like I said, I'm for it. And when something that might not be good about self-diagnosis is that we're biased for ourselves. So we do need someone else's help just to kind of fine tune and see where we actually are on the borderline spectrum, the how much psychosis we might experience, our cognitive distortions, and so on. And another thing that might be a little tricky with self-diagnosis is that if you relate too much to the label and you take the things that you might see online too seriously, like that it's not recoverable or that all so-and-so people are bad, depending on what issue we're talking about. So if you get too overwhelmed with the self-diagnosis, it's not the most pleasant thing, because we can get overwhelmed and think that recovery is not possible, and just because there's bad press about certain things on the internet doesn't mean that there's not the manageable side of things as well. So also something about self-diagnosis and what might be less pleasant about it is that when we actually get the formal diagnosis, if it's not what we've labeled ourselves, it might be a little troubling, or you might not trust the formal diagnosis, and it might kind of like trip you up along the way. At the same time, we have to kind of trust the professionals and move forward with what they say. So if you relate to this video, or if you want to tell us about what you think regarding self-diagnosis, please do, and look forward to hearing from you and getting in touch with anybody that would like that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. There's some kids watching me, but that's okay. Maybe they'll get educated on how to do some self-work. Yeah, so it's nice for me to share my view on it, because like I said, there's some conflicting stuff that you might see, and I want to just kind of like encourage you that you can work on yourself at any point in your journey, and that there's always hope for healing and growth and recovery.